over to you, because, of course, Israel, often a country with strife internally.
Yes, and as we've been reporting for some time, the strife is now gone very much beyond Arab versus Jew conflict, and there are many other divisions within Jewish society. So this is illustrated with the next story, which took place on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the holiest day in Jewish belief. It's viewed as a very strict annual Sabbath, and essentially the whole country shuts down. There's no overflights. The airspace is closed. The roads are empty. One of the major hazards is that the non-observant Jews take to the roads with skateboards and bicycles, and there are several hundred injuries that have to be treated with skateboarding accidents, because the whole day is very different from every other day. And amongst the religiously observant, this is viewed as an extremely important day. So what we have here is a Jerusalem Post reporting fights breaking out in a Tel Aviv prayer meeting on Yom Kippur, fights between the secular Israelis and the religious Israelis. It was in a place called, sorry, I beg your pardon, Square. The square has the name of the square has momentarily gone from me, but the square's not a square. The square's circular and has a pool in the middle and a fountain. And from this fountain was hung a dividing line of Israeli flags to separate the women from the men. This was viewed as being unacceptable by the secular Israelis of the area, and the argument escalated until it became a fight. The political response to this has been very interesting. So the Prime Minister's weighed in. He's blamed left-wing extremists, and he's gone on to say about them that the people of Israel wanted to unite in Yom Kippur in prayer for forgiveness and unity. To our surprise, a Jewish nation on the holiest Jewish day, left-wing protesters rioted against Jews as they prayed. It seems there are no limits, no norms, no exception from hatred for the left-wing extremists. I, like most of Israeli citizens, reject this. There's no room for such violent behaviour. So very much painting the left-wing secular Israelis as being utterly beyond the pale. Meanwhile, from the left-wing secular aspect, here we have an opinion piece in Haaretz talking about the knitted kippah of Yom Kippur worshippers in Tel Aviv has brought disaster for Israel. Now, the knitted kippah essentially illustrates the wearer's religious affiliation, and Gideon Levy is speaking as Dizengoff Square. That's the name I couldn't remember. He said, when they come to Dizengoff Square, they bring the arrogant nationalist ideology with them. And he goes on to say, the settlers and the Rebbeccas, members of Rosh Yehudi, and the supporters are the community that is forcibly depriving the Palestinian neighbours of these values, and now they're trying to gradually do the same in Tel Aviv. So they're seeing the religious as a threat. They have no right to benefit from liberalism. They are its enemies. And he goes on to say, the knitted kippah has become the symbol that sparks resistance. Many of those who wear it bear responsibility for this. It's a symbol borne on the heads of more and more IDF officers. He then concludes the knitted kippah makes its wearer a suspect until proven otherwise. The knitted kippah has brought down disaster in Israel. This needs to be said. So the point I want to make here is that the division is now so fundamental that one side is painting the other side as quite close to being subhuman, certainly guilty until proven innocent. This is essentially the view from both extremes. It's a very much more divided society than it was 20 years ago. And as you see, it is more inclined to go to violence, even on a day like Yom Kippur, than it's been at any point since the establishment of the state.
Now, David, thank you for that. Extraordinary, isn't it, that the breakdown and the chaos that we see in Western countries, we see it in the United States and within Europe, but we've also got similar effect revealing itself in Israel. Well, let's move on. If you like what the UK column is doing, then please join us, become part of the community. It gives you the opportunity to talk and exchange information and ideas with other people. You can also help us by making a purchase at the UK column shop. And of course, the key thing is that the material that we put out is specifically designed to be shared. So take it and spread it. That will make us particularly happy. Now, just a mention of events over the weekend in Sweden, because of course Mike Robinson was in Sweden for this particular event, On Guard for the Liberty of Mankind. Some really excellent speakers. That was streamed out live at 8 o'clock UK time on Saturday morning, and we've had some really good responses from people who have seen it. It will go up in due course, but a great event and a lot of extremely important information which came out for that. You can go to the website link there if you want to find out more. That's still working, I believe. And yes, a lot of people came together to speak out and warn about what is happening. Now, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we've got an interview. This is Mike Robinson, Vanessa Beeley, talking to former Labour MP Chris Williamson. And essentially the theme is, why at the moment is there no call for peace? There's plenty of calls for war, as we've just demonstrated with our report on the Sunday Telegraph, but it appears very few people are calling for peace. So I'm sure that's going to be an interesting interview. I'd also like to flag this one up. We've received several emails that Michael Benicia has put out a very heartfelt plea that his daughter has been taken by a combination of the police and social services. He thinks this is as a result of his work, and he's saying he will need help to get his daughter back. We will give you more information on this on Wednesday, but this is just a preliminary report so that you can check it for yourselves. We've also I'd like to remind people a very, very few tickets are remaining for the AV13 event, which is Sunday, the 22nd of October. So if you're in the Milton Keynes or London area and you can make it, you should be able to get a ticket, but there are just a few. And emails, we're always getting interesting emails. People send us information about all different subjects, but this particular lady, Jackie, picked up on a comment about the T4 program. This was the Nazi German program to kill disabled people. And in this comment, the BBC, of course, is coming to the fore because the lady is saying that the BBC showed us the eugenics process of removing ventilation and causing death for those with learning difficulties simply for having a lower IQ than that of the average population. And she's saying that this has happened in her own family, and the medical system is not working, and essentially people are not safe when they go into the medical system because we're now leading them into an end-of-life program. You can freeze that and have a look on screen, but it's a pretty serious comment.